What's up everybody, Payneys Comics, and today I have another video for you for all the comics coming out in October, which I think you should look into or probably pre-order. First off, from Marvel, we've got Champions issue number 1, and this is going to be Marvel's big book. They're pushing this, they want everyone to get this book. They are doing a plethora of variants, including an Alex Ross cover, which is probably going to be a 1 in 50, 2 Scotty Young covers, party variant, and more. It sounds like an interesting book as well, so probably something I'll be picking up at least the first issue of. Quite a few of the variants. Next up, I know a lot of people are big fans of Gabriel Del Toro and Spider-Man: The Clone Conspiracy issue 1. Regular cover is by him. Mosaic, the newest and biggest of the new Inhumans that Marvel have been putting out, has now got his own title. Again, there'll be variants for this one as well. Jessica Jones is back. She has a new series, and for the first time it is actually called Jessica Jones. Here we have Death of X issue number 1. In the Marvel solicitations it says that there is a shocking new Inhuman. It's a bit weird considering this is kind of a prequel, as it takes place immediately after Secret War and before the current relaunch. So it may be new in the story, but I don't know if it will be new at all, and if it is, they're probably going to die because we haven't seen him in between. But I don't know, they could come back to be a big surprise thing. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Plus, it's a $5 cover price. Next up, I know there's quite a few Eric Powell fans out there. Hillbilly number 1 was a big success for a lot of you guys. You like that, and in October he's also coming out with Chimichanga, Sorrow of the World's Worst Face. Sounds interesting. Here's the little solicitation if you want to read that. And he's also coming out with Spook House issue number 1. Not much of a solicitation there, it's just a bunch of short stories. Not quite sure how good it would be, but you know, Eric Powell fans, something for you to get. Alright, for all you Image Comics readers out there, Mark Miller and Greg Capullo are doing a new series called Reborn. I believe it is a mini-series of 5 issues, but don't quote me on that. And there are a plethora of variants, including Cho, Jock, and Cassidy. Obviously I haven't got any of the pictures for any of them, which is really annoying. And there's also a 1 in 25 variant by Todd McFarlane. I personally think it's going to be an interesting story from what I've read. If you want to read the little solicitation here, go right ahead. Moving on to Valiant, Bloodshot USA. As you can see in the title, it says it's 28 days later with superpowers. It's written by Jeff Lemire as well, which is a really good writer. Bloodshot's really interesting. I want to read more of that. So far behind with other stuff though, that's taken a while. But I think this would be a really good book to get, simply because, like they said, it's 28 days later, mixed with superpowers, and it does sound like a great movie opportunity. And considering the Valiant universe will be having some movies coming out soon, I think this would be a great speculation pickup as well as a great story. From Dynamite, we have Pathfinder Worldscape issue number 1. This doesn't just include the Pathfinder universe, it also includes Red Sonja, Tarzan, and John Carter. So a lot of different fan bases there picking at one small comic. I think that'll be A, an interesting story, and B, a good collectible. Saga 39. This story's been going on for a while, but it looks like there's going to be an interesting speculation development here, as it says new allies join the battle. New allies usually means new characters, and then it also says so do some deadly new enemies. So new allies, new enemies. Gonna think there's quite a few new characters in this one, hopefully. If not, you should pick this up anyway because it's a banging story. Although I have been reading it in trade paperback form. Alright, and from DC, Unfortunately, I don't have an image of the cover for this one, but if you read the little blurb here, it sounds like it's going to be a really good, like Suicide Squad type story. You have a quick read of it there. Pause the video. This is one I'll definitely be picking up, and it's after this annoying monster crossover that they've got going on between Batman, Detective Comics, and Nightwing. So that'll be something I'll probably pick up just because the story sounds really good to me. Next up we have Flash issue number 9, and this one will be the first meeting of the two Wally Wests, and you can see there is a cool little homage cover there as well. Trinity issue number 2 will have a Frank Cho variant. This isn't the Frank Cho variant, this is the regular cover. I can't find one of the Frank Cho variant, but I'm a big fan of his, so it'll probably be a good cover in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. Wonder Woman, 75 years old and still looks banging as shit. She has a special coming out, and there's a Jim Lee cover, but it is $8 fucking, which is a lot of money for a comic. I'm sure my boy Ray Jr. will like this one. He-Man crossover with the Thundercats. If you like either of those two franchises or both, this will be a good one for you. Freddie E. Williams is doing the art. Can't go wrong with that guy. Lobo is back, and it is in Harley's Little Black Book, issue number 6. I spoke to one of the guys at work. He seems to like the current drawing that they have of Lobo here. He didn't like some of the recent work. But if you're an old school fan of Lobo, I guess that'll be one for you. Or if you're a fan of Harley Quinn. And then last up, we have Injustice, Gods Among Us, Year 5, issue 20. And this is the final issue of the Injustice series. Not just Year 5, it completely. This issue ends where the game begins. So, a bit sad that it's going to be ending. I know there's quite a few people, including Marky316, that enjoy reading this. But here it is. Alright, that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out.